Hello again.
Good evening.
Hello, everyone. Just before we get started, we did get confirmation that Johnny Jesus Scalupo is going to be joining us, as on the agenda. And we didn't hear back from Kaya Phillips, I don't think, but that doesn't mean, oh, right, we are, and there's Pure Legacy programs right now, confirmed by being present. Thank you.
Was perfect timing. It is 6:30 on the dot right now. I see a few people are still joining, so I actually am just gonna give it like one more minute, so everybody could get oriented, and then we'll begin. Sounds good, Eric? In agreement with that?
That sounds great. Nice to see you, Arnella.
And I'm not recording yet, but when you say go, that's when I will.
All right. In honor of being on time and sticking to what I said, it is now 6:31. Sean, we are going to begin. Okay, perfect. So this is the Youth Service Education and Library Committee for CB14. I'm Arnella Parker. I am one of the co-chairs, and I am joined by my amazing co-chair, Eric. You want to give a quick wave and hi?
Good evening.
So on today's agenda for our January 30th meeting, we have a presentation from Housing Works program. We also have a presentation from Pure Legacy, followed by planning for the 2025 Youth Conference. And then obviously, as usual, we always have time for other business at the end of this agenda. We are going to jump right in, introducing our first agenda item. I just want to make sure, is Johnny on?
Hey, so good
Yes.
afternoon. Yes, Johnny's on.
Yes,
Hey,
I am
Johnny.
here.
All right.
Hi.
So, just a quick introduction to before Johnny jumps in. I'm sure he's going to do a beautiful introduction as well. Um, Johnny is coming from Housing Works, which is a program that fights for funding and legislation to ensure that those that are living with HIV/AIDS have access to different resources, housing, healthcare, in those regards. So Johnny is here today to discuss and share with us a presentation on the programs for youth specifically. So I'm going to turn it over to Housing Works to begin their presentation.
Yes, hi. Good evening, everyone. So my name is Johnny Guadalupe, and I'm here with my colleague Snooky. And
Yes.
so we're gonna do a presentation. Just real quick. I mean, has anyone heard of Housing Works? Yeah. Oh, good. I'm glad. What? Okay. Um, do you know Housing Works because of the thrift shops, because of a bookstore, or because of medical services? Which one?
All of it. And
Oh,
you,
oh,
when
love
you
that.
present, it's hard to, all the stuff, all the good work you do.
Okay, thank you, thank you. I'm glad to hear that. I always want to know because sometimes, depending on who it is that we're presenting or where in New York City, people be like, "Oh, the thrift shops." That's the first thing. But yeah, Housing Works. We're a hidden community of people living with and affected by the HIV and AIDS, and our mission is to end the dual crisis of homelessness and AIDS through our relentless advocacy, the provision of life-saving services, and our entrepreneurial businesses that sustain our efforts. And with that, we have 11 thrift shops that are amazing all throughout New York City, in Manhattan. We have a used bookstore cafe, which is located in Soho, right on Crosby and Houston, right by the Adidas store where Broadway and Houston. So right down the block from there. We also are the first company to receive the okay to open up a cannabis dispensary, which is on Astor Place. It's the first one in New York. And we also have two healthcare federally qualified health centers, one of them in East New York, Brooklyn, one of them in downtown Brooklyn by Metro Tech. And then we have two additional ones, one of them in Hell's Kitchen on 48th Street and 8th Avenue. And then we have also a healthcare site on East 125th Street in Lexington, right by where the old Pathmark was at, where McDonald's is at. I don't know if people are familiar with 125th, but yeah, the building on top of McDonald's, we have that entire building. So we do a lot, and we are a multi-service agency in New York City, and one of the largest ones in New York City, and we've been around since the 1990s. We actually came about through ACTA. And so during the peak of HIV AIDS in the 80s and 90s, ACTA had a housing committee. And that housing committee was four founders that founded Housing Works. And that's where, they started off. And now, yeah, we run hotels, shelters, we have housing, medical services, and then we have also our businesses. And a lot of that comes back to the services that we provide for our community. So I'm going to share a screen and a PowerPoint, and Slicky's going to get us started with the youth focus presentation, all right? And if at any time you have any questions, just feel free to unmute yourself.
Perfect. Good evening, everybody. I'm Snooki. I'm the program coordinator of the Youth Clubhouse at the Housing Works location in East New York. Just a quick fun fact before we start this. I've been a part of using Housing Works since I was 15 years old, coming here and using and utilizing their services and just being in the safe space that they've provided. And so it's just a full circle moment that I am now the program coordinator of the Youth Clubhouse now and running it. So I'm really excited to do this. So yes, let's get started. This is the Housing Works Oasis LGBTQ plus Youth Clubhouse. This is just a slideshow just giving you the rundown of the Youth Clubhouse and the services we have to offer. So we're going to start with the importance of the LGBTQ youth center spaces, and this is why this is important. Sexual and gender minority youth experience disproportionate mental health burdens than cisgender heterosexual youth. Experiences with stigma, harassment, anti-LGBT discrimination, and victimization. Self-esteem, depressive symptoms, suicidal ideation, substance abuse, alcohol, and marijuana use. Youth who participated in the LGBTQ community organizations were more likely to be AMAB, that's AMAB, sorry, AMAB transgender youth of color and assessing free or reduced lunch, alleviating feelings of isolation, a need for LGBTQ specific spaces. Let's move on. Our purpose, this is our purpose. The clubhouse serves as a drop-in space for adolescent youth and young adults to develop pro-social skills that promote long-term health, wellness, recovery, and a drug and alcohol-free lifestyle. The clubhouse serves adolescent youth and young adults who have and are at high risk for a substance use disorder and or co-occurring mental health disorder. This is how we approach this work. Minority stress frameworks, access to support, and integration into the LGBTQ community may help to mitigate and buffer the negative influence of minority stress on health. Sorry, intersectionality. This emphasizes the interconnectedness and mutually constructed nature of identity positive use development framework recognizes that adolescence is a crucial time in the life course to promote health and wellness through creating safe spaces, establishing consistent rules and expectation, fostering supportive relationships with peers and adults, promoting positive behaviors and good decision making, and encouraging autonomy and leadership. Barriers to support for LGBTQ and POC youth. LGBTQ youth were more likely to report social problems with their prior engagements in community youth programs. Youth from families with higher socioeconomic status are more likely to participate in a range of extracurricular activities than youth from families with lower socioeconomic statuses. Social policies may thwart the implementation of culturally relevant education or programs for LGBTQ youth. Historically, LGBTQ youth-focused community organizations have filled the void for youth to develop positive socially and psychologically through means that may be unavailable to them at home or through social programs, through school programs, sorry. So that's the barriers for the support for the LGBTQ POC youth for the Youth Clubhouse. Eligibility. LGBTQ plus people of color ages 18 to 24. The clients must be enrolled in the clubhouse to receive exclusive program and services. And what we mean by exclusive program and services, as we know, the youth clubhouse at Housing Works is non-clinical, fun, innovative programming. So I do, different type of fun programming. And so if we do, let's just say we have a really big program, which you'll see more in the slide of big programs that we provide through the month, you'll see that individuals who are eligible for the youth clubhouse kind of get first dibs on a lot of things that we do. So that's what they mean by just receive exclusive program and services, 18 to 24 and LGBT people of color. This is the FAQ. What types of program does the clubhouse offer? So like I mentioned to you, we do arts, visual art, dance, and music, canvas painting, hip hop dance classes, master vocal classes, career development, resume boost. We do ballroom. I don't know if you ever heard of ballroom, where they do voguing, legendary pose, those wonderful TV shows. We do all of that there as well. Kiki lounges, commentator workshops, runway classes. We do food classes like making candy apples and lollipops. And we also do creative skill training. That's like sewing, candle making. And so just really, really fun things, crocheting, knitting. So it's really, really fun. It's amazing. And also, these are just a couple of pictures of the program that we do. The one with the jerseys, the red and blue, is when we did a field day that was a couple of blocks from the location. They loved it. They showed up and just had just a day of field day and just having fun. The first pic that you guys see with the braiding of the hair, that is that's the beauty bar that we do. The beauty bar comes with individuals the youth are able to sign up in advance. This is totally free, by the way. All the services that we provide at the Youth Clubhouse is totally free, no charge. They sign up for the beauty bar. They're able to either get their hair done or they're able to get a facial. We had a esthetician come in and do free facials or hair braiding to give them an option if they needed to. And also, it was not on here. We did a makeup class tutorial from a famous a celebrity makeup artist that came in and did a free class to teach tools of that. We do the voguing, we do the mini boards, we do the sewing class to teach people how to make clothing and how to be in the fashion industry, and also how to make little purses as well. So it ranges from just many variety of different fun and innovative programming that we do here at the clubhouse. Another FAQ is, what if I am ineligible, which means if they're not eligible for the youth clubhouse, which is 18 to 24. We do have people that come into the clubhouse that maybe not in the age range, but if it's 18 to 24 and a 25-year-old coming on 26, it's totally fine. They're still, within the age, and we don't turn anybody away from the youth clubhouse. If we aren't able to cater to them, we make sure that we pass them to a warm handoff to somebody who are able to help them. And it's if you do not meet the age requirement, you may be eligible to enroll in programs offered by our sister contracts. Services that provide include case management, linkage to medical and mental health care, PrEP, PEP, and free HIV and STI testing as well. The services we offer here at the Youth Clubhouse are the clothing rack, which is one of my favorites. The clothing rack, which each month from our thrift shop that we're so popular about, each month they send us a load of clothing from the thrift shop, and we have a clothing rack where we rack up each month with coats. Definitely now that it's coats, we have a lot of coats and thermals and jackets and long sleeve and pants. Monthly access to our clubhouse clothing rack that is restocked on an ongoing basis with pieces curated by the staff. We also have emergency food pantry, monthly access to the emergency food pantry, which is once a month. We have a refrigerator that we have in the kitchen, and it has frozen foods from hot pockets to beef patties to TV dinners to fruit snacks to chips, cookies, water, and juice as well. This is once a month for the clients. Just something, they probably didn't eat, or they'll want a little snack or something. We give it to them for them to have. Also, unique free monthly programming, like I mentioned, totally free. If you like to dance, paint, sew, and learn new skills. And last but not least, if you need a +1, the clubhouse enrollment can also allow you to access services from our sister contracts. And yes, and you can follow us on
Yeah.
social media. That's Housing Works Instagram at HWYPS.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add also, like, with like the outside of the services that that Snooki mentioned, we also have evidence-based intervention groups for our young adults and also adults within the queer community. So yeah, anyone 18 and above, we run anger management groups, seek and safety group, which is evidence-based intervention that's really working on that really discusses post-traumatic stress disorder, and gives young people the tools so they can go and be able to manage with and cope with some of the challenges that they probably experiencing. And then we have also our specialized groups for transgender women of color as well. Yes, Rashida.
Hey, can you
I love start
remind me
and
and phenomenal collection of services and activities. Can you remind me where is the location for the clubhouse? That's the first question. And then I had a second question. And of course I can't remember it. Um, but the first one, which is I think like the most important, right? Is like could you remind me what's the location for the clubhouse?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good question. Is in East New York, Brooklyn. So we in Central Brooklyn, East New York. And we're also able to go outside of our site to provide any programming that perhaps any like youth specific programs may want. If you want a Kiki segment, if you want us to introduce like what is a Kiki, kind of like what is Kiki and like voguing, and introduce that perhaps to the upcoming event that you all have that we will be attending, which we actually have attended for the past, like, I don't know, for like I've been working for Housing Works for 20 years, and I've been managing the department for about 12 years, so I've been going to those events for a long time.
Awesome. I can't remember my second question. If it comes back to me, I'll ask.
Rashida did a beautiful job of kicking off questions and Q&A here. Before we jump into Q&A, I want to thank you both for sharing about Housing Works, specifically about the youth clubhouse. The resources you are providing. I was here typing away like, okay, what else? So I do want to make sure we create some space for anyone who have any follow-up questions. And I had that same question, Rashida, where the location was. So thank you for asking. I'm looking to see if there's any hands. I see a few hands. Rashida, did you raise your hand again, or did you remember that question? And then Sean, I think this is you.
It is
Is that-
me. Yeah. Hi there, Sean Campbell. I'm the district manager of Community Board 14, and I want to thank you that you've participated in the youth conference, which is on our agenda again tonight to talk about planning for that. We hope to see you there. The link is in the chat, and we haven't seen your application this year. I'm still counting on you.
Oh yeah,
But
you
if
will. You
okay,
will.
if
I
you
was
get your
waiting for this
application.
presentation, but yeah, we actually going to submit like just an idea of perhaps even having like a Kiki segment, even if it's for like 30 minutes for like the young people. And I also, I didn't do a good job of introducing Snooki, but Snooki is iconic, legendary in the ballroom and Kiki scene. So he does all of the commentating and emceeing throughout New York City, around the country, and around the globe. He's been to Paris. He's been to many places. He's highly requested. So I'm just
Love
thankful to
that.
work with him.
That I love that, and I really appreciate, this is the most positive energy that has come, that has I've been able to gather all week. So thanks for bringing that as well. And I just want to share a quick story. I try not to do this, but I have a friend coming into town in a few weeks, and she's a librarian in Austin, Texas, and so we're doing sort of a libraries and bookstores tour. And she sent me the link to the Housing Works bookstore on Crosby, and she's like, "Can we go here? It's my favorite." So you are nationally renowned.
Oh, great. I'm so happy to hear that. And, feel free to share, send me an email. I can just make sure that people are looking out for you if you do decide to visit us. But
Sweet.
please come,
Thank
please.
you very much. We'll be
Yeah.
there. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions?
Um,
Eric.
how you doing, guys? Thank you guys so much. I would love if you could just give us a little bit, like, could you tell us a little bit about Kiki ballroom culture for those like me and maybe others who are not familiar? I would love to hear a little bit about it if you could.
Yes. So the ballroom community was of course black, brown, Latino. It was started in like the late 80s. And it started in New York City, of course. And this is where it started from. And it was just the ballroom scene back in the day wanted a place that they can call their own, where they're able to praise each other, win trophies, win cash prizes, also just have their own safe haven, just knowing how the community was back then dealing with LGBTQ people. Um, and so they needed to find, that's why it used to be called Ballroom Underground, because it was just so hard for you to find where a ball is or how can you go to one. And if you had to know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody to get into these spaces, which now it's more mainstream on TV and television. RuPaul's Drag Race, it's in movies, it's in music videos. A lot of artists use it, but Ballroom is just really a place where we were able to express ourselves. We're able to do what we want, how we want, when we want. Nobody was able to judge us. We can wear what we want, as flashy as we want, as bright and vibrant as we want, and be able to praise each other in our own spaces. As over the years it has grown, it is now international. It is Jamaica, it's in Tokyo, Japan, it's in Australia, it's in Paris, London, you name it. It is all over the world now. And so ballroom is just, we're able to wear costumes and get able to vogue and walk runway and sell face with nice bone and structure. So there's categories, believe it or not, there's over 50 categories that anybody could walk. So if anybody can also join ballroom as well, whether they're straight, gay, bi, it doesn't matter what you are, any race, any color, you're able to come into ballroom and display your talent. So it was just
Yeah.
a safe space for us to just feel it and just give it and to be ourselves.
Yeah, and Eric, it's also a place where it's a subculture of the queer community, and is very competitive. But it's also a place where the queer community was able to find their chosen family. So you have houses, and those houses are led by parents and leaders, and they pretty much adopt kids, adopt queer young people that are looking for that guidance. But then they come into these spaces and they compete against each other in different categories, such as voguing and runway, and who has the most exotic, beautiful, pretty face. And each house will bring their best folks to go and compete. So think of like the Olympics in a way, right? And yeah, for a long time it was underground and it's become mainstream, but we still want to keep it like, really tight. We don't want to let it go. But and then the Kiki is a younger version of the main ballroom scene, which is primarily young adults and adults. But the Kiki version is for young people that are adolescents and teens, and they came up with they replicated everything that they saw, but it's just a little more loosely. It doesn't have as many rules, but it's still competitive. So you'll have the House of Old Navy and the House of Gabbana and the House of Juicy Couture and like all these different houses, and they came up with all these like really cool, funny names to compete against each other and almost like mimic the ballroom scene, but a younger version.
Sounds great. Thank you very much for sharing that. I think everybody wants to join now.
I
Good.
see. I see a question from Florencia, followed by the district office. So Florencia, you're good to go, followed by the office.
Good evening, everyone. So where in Jamaica can you find this? Is this on the North Coast or
Oh, so
where?
In Kingston, there's actually a small, nice group that actually they do. I mean, obviously it's underground, but they do come out. There's now Kingston Pride. So yeah, you see them in Jamaica, but primarily in Kingston.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Florencia, that community is actually growing in Kingston right now. Some of my family members participate, so it definitely is. It's happening.
Yeah,
Okay.
it totally blew my mind when it came across my desk. I was like, in Jamaica, I just couldn't believe it. But I'm happy that it's expanding, and that also other LGBT around the world are able to find that safe space and be able to, be a part of it.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I think Sean, I don't know if your hand is up from the last
Yeah.
question, but definitely.
Yeah, no, it's me again. And I have a question really about programming. The work you do to create safe spaces, I think is going to become a little fraught as you're creating safe spaces in an increasingly unsafe climate. And so I'm wondering what linkages you might have, or if you're thinking about building additional linkages to like legal services, health services, and other, to support the work you do as it comes under threat increasingly.
Yeah, we're always looking to partner with different community-based organizations all throughout New York City. That's actually one of our strengths, and it's definitely something that we're always looking to do. One of the good things about Housing Works, I would say, is our advocacy. And so, yeah, it is going to be a tough, few years for us, but this is what we're made. This is what we're all about. And if anyone's interested in joining us, we already have trips going to DC, the state capital. Our advocacy department is pretty busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we have a marketing department, we have a communications department, and we take it very serious. So we have
Do you
a
do like
national.
referrals? Like you would refer somebody to the door would
Oh
come to
yeah.
mind in terms, yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, we work. So we also are part of coalitions, and we actually one of the lead agencies in the Kiki Coalition. And so we work with the door, we work with DYCD programs and the TIL housing programs, and we work with the runaway homeless youth, and we're mandated reporters. And so when a young person comes in, we follow all the steps and policies and protocols. But yeah, we are part of various coalitions. And we're still looking to be a part of additional coalitions. So if there's any committees or coalitions that you think that would benefit us, please let us know.
Thank you.
There's another question. Florencia, you are good to go. I think you're the last hand.
Okay. Thank you. in light of what Sean just said, I'm just curious to know if there's security, especially for the youth, for the Kiki group, considering that sometimes you do have people who are hateful.
Yeah, secure safety and security is our number one. Like that's the number one thing in the agenda. And it's the reason why we have a coalition, and it's the reason why, yeah, we can't do this alone, right? And so we work with other providers, other programs that also, and so sometimes we'll go and support their events and provide also capacity and crowd control. And so, yeah, our number one thing is to keep our young people safe. And so they come into our spaces, it's a brave space, and we want to make sure that it's as safe as possible for all of the attendees. We work with community affairs, depending on where is it that we're having the event, to inform them of our intention. And yeah, there's always a liaison between us and any community board members or community boards in that space where we're having an event, and always in conversations with NYPD as well. But yeah, no, our number one thing is safety and security for our young folks. That's a
Yes, and
good question to put it
we
to.
also have security on site as well that does rounds through the day. We all have walkie-talkies in every room, every department. We're always on the same page as well. So definitely safety is our number one priority.
Good to know. And I do know a young lady, she's based in Philadelphia, but she does, I forgot what she calls it, when you take clothing and make brand new clothing out of it, and she does this for the groups.
Oh,
She
like
track
upcycle. She like
that
upcycles.
that's the word. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
So I
Uh-huh.
will send the her link to Sean and she could pass it on.
Awesome. Yes, we would love that. And we actually, yeah, I mean, Snooki is a part of Mainstream House and Kiki House, and they have chapters all around the globe.
Okay.
Philadelphia is like our neighboring state or city, but yeah, we work closely with them.
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
be in Philly on Saturday, which is so funny you mentioned
Oh,
that.
well, if your information is in the link, I'll take it and pass it on to her as well.
Okay.
I think Rashida remembered her question. Is that true?
Yes. I did. I know you guys, so I'm a Harlemite, and so I am familiar with the building on 125th Street. And my question was, could you restate what the purpose is of the building above the McDonald's? Is it housing? Like,
Oh
what is
yeah,
the
so the building above the McDonald's, we have programming. We have
okay,
programs, case management programs, but we also have one of our health sites, federally qualified
okay,
health centers, and
perfect,
also like all of our federally qualified health centers also specialize in HIV care, also gender affirming care and services as well, and they
okay,
all provide also pharmacy services, and no one will be turned away. So whether they have insurance or yeah, we accept everyone.
perfect. Thank you.
Mhm.
All right. I don't think there's any more questions. I want to give a
I have one
resounding.
last.
Oh,
We're
go
not.
ahead, Eric. I lied. I lied.
I have one last, and then we'll head to Rashida. Uh, Guys, when I was looking at the signing up, I know you said that you take all drop-ins, so people could just show up. But it says clients should be enrolled in the clubhouse. Is there an enrollment process? Like what is that?
Yeah. So it's like, oh, we have a sorry. So if anybody's between the age of 18 and 24, they will come in. We have a QR code that will ask them like just a soft screening, age, race, email address, all that good stuff, just like the basic information about them to get them enrolled. Once we get them enrolled, they do receive a $10 gift card and a Metro card as well. And then we can, later on down the month, check up on them if they need anything. Also, each month, the clubhouse do give reminders to all the youth that's enrolled into the clubhouse, whether it's our you see we have a calendar each month as well. We have these each month that we design with a slew of many different programs with the dates and everything. And then on the back side is always the breakdown of the categories. So once we have the information, they get a gift card, they get a Metro card, and then each month we check on them, see if they need anything, if they need any testing, if they want to be connected to prep, do they need case management, anger management. We just make sure that we check on them, make sure they're okay, and just update them about programming if they're interested, haircuts, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, Eric, it's a low threshold enrollment process, and that's the idea is that we want to eliminate any barriers for young people to come in and receive services. We don't want to throw in any clinical jargon or any like 10-page enrollment process. So yeah, there's a New York State funded program, and it's really to just keep kids or young people safe and away from like the negativity that perhaps they have to face when they go outside, or perhaps that they're facing in their own residence.
So essentially, just go to the
Exactly.
clubhouse, and that
We'll
okay,
be here.
great. That's easy enough. Thank you, Scott. Thank you guys so much. I'll let Ornella continue.
No, I was honestly about to echo the thanks. Thank you all, Housing Works in general for sharing, but also just the work that you do is amazing. I'm excited to share this with the rest of our community at our monthly meeting. And you guys are already well known, so I don't have to say that, but definitely I love the idea of the clubhouse and what it's doing for our youth. So thank you both for sharing. We're going to move on to Rashida, but you are
All
definitely,
right.
if you want to hang out with us, we have 2 more agenda items, but if you have to run, that's also okay. Again, thank you for joining us tonight. We're going to pivot
All right.
now.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you for having
much.
me.
Thank you. And look out for our application. It will be submitted by this weekend. Have a good
Yes.
evening, everyone. And thank you once again. Bye.
Next agenda item, we have Pure Legacy programs. Rashida, you are presenting for Pure Legacy. I want to make sure we had a Phillips at first.
Mhm.
Okay. I see you already have your mission there, so I'm actually going to have you introduce yourself. And since you already have it up on the screen, but we have Pure Legacy next on the agenda, followed by Youth Conference. All you, Rashida.
Thank you. Hi, good evening. I am Rashida White. I'm the Chief of Programs and Operations at Pure Legacy. I have to tell you, I'm giggling to myself in the background because I've served on school boards on CECs in New York City. And when we have visitors, it's very limited, right, in terms of how much time they get to speak. So I've truncated my presentation just because I'm used to having to talk in 3 minutes or less. But I am going to give you as much information and answer any questions that you have that might not be available in the very short 2-slide presentation. But Pure Legacy is a Brooklyn-based nonprofit organization. Our mission is to serve young systems impacted girls and gender expansive youth by providing restorative services and programs that equip them with the tools to heal. And what that looks like in terms of our program delivery is we offer a mentor training program. We offer a big sister, little sister program that our mentors that are trained, and I'll get a little bit more into that, are then matched with littles. And then we have a separate workforce development program. All of our programs are paid stipend programs. And so we pay our participants in addition to providing food for them when they come for their training and Metro cards and other resources. We give out monthly healthcare packets to our girls, right? So they get tampons and maxi pads and shampoo and shower soap because the population of young women that we oftentimes work with do not have that readily available to them all the time. Pure Legacy was founded in 2019 by Naquasia Pollard. Naquasia is a Brooklyn native, and she was incarcerated when she was 19 years old. She was pregnant at the time. She served 15 years, right, like for theft and robbery. And when she came home, she realized that there was a gap, right, in terms of services that young people had that would prevent them from making really bad decisions. And so she started Pure Legacy as just a way to pay back her community, right, and to create opportunity to prevent young girls from making the same mistakes that she made when she was younger. So the program that I really wanted to just kind of talk to you guys about in depth is the mentor training program, specifically because we are getting ready to open up our application again for our spring 2025 cohort. Our mentor training program is a 16-week long training program. where we take girls through a series of pillars, right, of in our curriculum, and they are based in financial literacy, mentorship training. They get conflict resolution training, which we think intelligence pieces that is oftentimes missing with our young people, which leads them to make some really rash decisions sometimes. They get sexual health training, and then we bring in a youth coach. She's actually a professional youth life coach that helps them do things like lay out their goals for the next couple of years, learn how to do positive affirmations. They do a vision board exercise. Some of our community partners that we work with are Operation Hope. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Operation Hope. If you are not, you should be. And I tell people this all the time. Operation Hope was started by John Hope Bryant almost 30 years ago. He does work in all across the country, really, but I know that they have reps in Brooklyn, Bronx, and Harlem, but they teach financial literacy to low income communities. And it is literally, if you sign up to get financial coaching with Operation Hope, they literally become your financial advisor from the moment that you sign up till the day that you die for absolute free. And they help if you want to buy a house, if you want to help fix your credit. I mean, it's a fantastic resource, but they come in and they actually do the financial literacy component of our curriculum. We have a partnership with the Department of Health and Mental Hygiene, and we do a teen sexual health component to our curriculum. And I think that one gets a lot of they're more excited. The young people are more excited about that than they are about the financial literacy, right? Because sadly, people are not having conversations with, especially our girls, right, about like health, sexual health, right, and how to be safe. And so their eyes are always big and their ears are always open. When they finish that 16-week program, there's a 2-month lull. We have a series of resource and engagement events during those 2 months, but then we bring them back in and we pair them with littles. So MTP is for 17 to 24-year-old young women. And then they are paired with a mentor for 8 months after that. So really making it a 1-year partnership with the organization. And they are supported and they get to be a big sister, right? Like to another young person who is from their community. And so it's a guided mentorship relationship. They are paid $200 a week just for showing up and participating, right? When they become mentors to littles, they are paid, right, for showing up, right, like for their littles and spending time with them. We do field trips both in and around New York City. And when funding allows, we will go out to places like DC or Philadelphia for arts and cultural field trips. While we invite, and similar to Housing Works, it is a very low barrier threshold, our application process. You must just be in the age range of 17 to 24. This spring cohort will be in Brooklyn. And so you must be, it's easier if you're a Brooklyn resident, right? Like if you want to travel from Harlem, girls are welcome to do that. But this cohort, we're focusing on Brooklyn. And so being a Brooklyn resident, and while most of the youth that we work with live in at-risk communities, we really try to hone in on young women who are systems impacted. And we define systems impacted as those who are aging out of foster care, those who have been impacted by the carceral system, or those who are struggling with housing, right, and homeless issues. And then just to give you a glimpse of like what it looks like when they're paired, we have 2 young sisters who are our OCA littles this cycle, and their mother had a mental break last year, burned their apartment down, and so they were homeless. Their father stepped up to take over primary care of them, but realized he's a young dad and the girls are 12 and 11, 13 and 11. And he was like, I don't know what to do with girls. And so he called us and he said, do you have mentors or people who can just be big sisters, right? Like to my daughters. And so we found mentors for them and paired them, right? And so it's fantastic. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I'm missing. Foundation Chanel is like a partner who So there are field trips that we have, and we'll go down to their atelier, and the girls get to get facials and perfume and all the little cute, like Chanel items. But the application is launching right now. The wait list is open. The application launches on Monday, February 3rd. And so I just wanted to show, I have an actual flyer that I'll email to you guys, and I think I can drop it in the chat. But I wanted to really kind of talk about that. Our sessions take place at the Gregory Jackson Center in Brownsville. It's on Rockaway. I forget the cross street, but it's 519 Rockaway Avenue in Brownsville. Yeah, and so like I'll stop there and I'll take questions, and then I'm happy to also like talk a little bit about our workforce development program. But it's very similar, right? Like 16 weeks. They're paid to participate in the program. There's a lot of overlap in terms of the social emotional aspect of the curriculum, but in intern leadership, they also get hard skills. So we do Microsoft 365 training, Google training. They learn how to write a resume. They get interview training skills. And the goal, although we're still early in trying to identify some Brooklyn-based local businesses who would be willing to hire them, right, for a little bit. Like the goal is to get them some jobs, right, like in the Brooklyn area. And so we're looking to start massaging some relationships with some business owners in the local Brooklyn area. Our curriculum was designed in partnership with United Way, who has they have a huge contract with this workforce development consultant. He does like education design. And so we fine-tuned our curriculum with him, and we are in talks to have our digital literacy taught by Emergent Works. But that too is 16 weeks. They're paid $200 a week to participate. They are fed, they are given Metro cards to get home. And so I'll stop there and just take any questions that you guys might have.
Thank you so much, Rashida. Eric, it looks like you have your hand up. All you. Or did you put your hand?
That was leftover, but I'll just say thank you so much for that presentation, Rashida. I've been taking notes and I'm taking it in right now. I don't have a question for you just yet.
That is absolutely fine. And I'm happy to share a flyer, right? Like once we hang up, I actually have like some flyers that I can send you guys. So that if you want to share them, you can do that.
That would be really helpful, Rashida.
Yeah.
I work in schools right now, and there's a high school in my building that I think will definitely, a few of the students there would be great candidates for this program.
Awesome. I will send the flyer to you afterwards. Awesome.
I see Carissa followed by Sarah. So Carissa, go ahead, and Sarah, you're right after.
Hey, Rashida, thank you so much for that
Hey.
presentation. A little bit of a selfish question, but will you have a table at our youth conference?
So I was actually going to wait until all the questions stopped because I was going to ask about the youth conference.
Because
I was trying to go in order. But yeah, but no, and I'm super curious, and so we would love to have a table.
I asked because one of the ideas that I had was to actually provide sanitary products for young girls because it's needed. And I think that would be great, especially if you're coming. So that was my question. Thank you.
Awesome. Not yet is the answer.
But
we'll
possibly
help make it fix that.
We're gonna make it happen. Yeah.
Love it.
How big are the cohorts?
Mm-hmm. So
we do
three cohorts. We do 3 cohorts a year, and each cohort is 15 individuals.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
I was also going to say, when you email us the flyer, I don't know if you can share a document in this chat, but when you email us the flyer, we will put it on our website as a community resource, and then I think you should be in time for, maybe not this, we'll get it out there as well within our community, of course.
Awesome.
Then Ornella and Eric, is it okay if I jump in with a quick thumbnail on the youth conference? And I'm sorry that this So the youth conference is scheduled for March 12th. It's 4 to 7 and it's at the Flatbush YMCA. Right now we have preview of coming attractions. We have 48 organizations, agencies, and job providers signed up. We usually have 50 plus, and about 400 young people between the ages of 14 and 21, but really sort of on the bell curve, like 15, 16, 17, do attend. We would love to have you. And then in addition to posting your flyer, you would be it would be posted on all of the on our website with the youth conference participants as well. There is a link in the chat to the youth conference tab on our website, and you know where to find us if you have any other questions or trouble registering. But yeah, we would definitely love to have you. I think you would enjoy it. It's really a bright spot in our year at the board.
Awesome. Yep. And I clicked on the link, so I have that. Thank you. I'm going to stop my share right now. Okay.
A quick question, Rashida. One, that is the most succinct presentation I've seen. I need to learn those skills, how you did that in 2 slides. I'd be going on for hours. But quick question about the transition from the MTP into the Big Sister, Little Sister program. I know there's a cohort which then turns into the Big Sisters. How do you guys select the Little Sisters to join? Like, what does that process look like?
Yeah, so there's a matching process that involves bringing the parents in as well, and allowing them to have conversation and seeing how that synergy works, right? We look at what are some of their interests, location, and like we have, because we also operate program in the Bronx. We rotate between Brooklyn and the Bronx. And so proximity is really important, right? Like we want to make sure that the mentors live within less than an hour train ride of their mentee, because for Saturday field trips and things like that, they need to be available. But it's really about personality types. And when they meet in person, like I said, we organize in-person meetings with the parents, right, and or guardian. So it's really about how that group of people click together. Because they come together in our space, it's not like they are out, like out in the streets, like alone with the child. They're coming and doing activities in our space with their little together. So it's always like a guided relationship. So we don't worry too much about like an 18-year-old being on their phone and the kid falling in the train track type situation, because it's a guided mentorship relationship.
A follow-up question. The littles, what is the criteria to be a little?
They just have to be in the area and they want a big sister. That's
Got
it.
it.
There's a
And
very
you guys,
simple application for parents to fill out.
and that application comes out like later after
Mm-hmm.
MTP? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at the chat. I don't see any other questions. I do want to give space if there are, so I'll wait a second. All right. Rashida, thank you so much. This was really informative. I'm excited once you share these flyers to be able to get
Yeah.
that information out. And definitely excited for you to be a part of the youth conference. Another shameless plug.
Thank
Honestly,
Awesome.
thank you so much for what your legacy is doing and for sharing that information with us tonight. It was such an honor to have you. You are definitely welcome to hang out with us. We are about to talk about the youth conference if you want to hear a little bit about
I'm
that.
gonna call the
So
Asia just called, the ED just called, so I'm actually gonna but you will see me because I'm gonna we're gonna fill out the application and you guys will see us at the conference.
perfect. We will see
Awesome.
you
Thank
then.
you so much. All right.
To
Right.
meet you. Thank you.
It's not
Bye.
goodbye. It's see you soon. See you soon.
See you soon. All right. Bye.
Wow. He's a great guest tonight. I feel uplifted. That's always nice. All right, so we have shifting gears. some updates and sort of status check for where we are with the 2025 Youth Conference. One of the things today in a discussion today, just to point out that the we are taking the lead. The Youth Services Education Libraries Board, we like to take the lead on the youth conference, but it is a CB14 all board, all hands on deck youth conference. And so everybody from all committees and the whole board, it's a whole community affair. So please weigh in and help out. So here's where we are at the moment. Just a quick overview, and please, Sean, Sarah, Ornella, jump in if you'd like. We are confirmed for Wednesday, March 12th at the Flatbush YMCA. Our space is booked. Organizations have been invited. As you see, we're inviting them in real time. And we have invitations. The board, the office has sent out invitations to schools and some of the other programs that we work with to spread the word. And I know, I don't know if it's happening yet, but representatives, our local representatives and congressional representatives, city, are being reached out to. Personal invites are being sent out to those people and their staffs to hopefully get many who have come in years past and get them back. So that stuff is already in place. So what are we doing now? What do we need to do? So this is outreach effort time. So if you are on this call and you know additional organizations, ones that you're connected with or think would be good, right? Even tonight we're adding organizations. So there's always people out there that maybe have not come before and don't know about it. So connect with those people. I believe, Sean, we can send the link to, you said the page, the youth conference page or the organization page. I don't know if that's in the chat already, but
it's in the chat. If you click on the YC, it brings you to all of the 4 different signups, the organization, if you want to attend, and the volunteer platforms are all there.
I'm clicking it now and seeing it. Oh man, the website looks great. Those in the office who built this and updated it, man, it looks great. Trisha, Sarah, and it's got, I'm looking at it now. You know, it's register to participate, register to volunteer. My organization wants to have a table. We'd like to bring our students. So there's a survey for all of that. There's the video that we made last year that was put together. That's on there, and has a wonderful list of all the organizations that are participated in 2024 with links and pretty comprehensive. So if people are curious about it, sending them this link alone will give them a full overview of what it is. So that's a really useful link, the youth conference page. So getting the word out, this is our outreach moment. So organizations and also youth organizations that might be able to bring students or spread the word to young people. So that's one thing that we need to be working on. 2, we're a little short on our volunteers. So click that link and sign up to volunteer for both. You know, there's some things we need to do. I think at the February meeting, we'll have flyers. So we'll need flyering. So we need people to distribute those, put them up around, talk to businesses, local businesses, places where kids would go, places where parents of kids would go, places where organization heads would go. So put those up in visible places. So that's one thing, and we'll have those at the February meeting to give out. The other thing is really the day of volunteering. So there's 2 main things that need to happen. So we need about 15 people at least available to float and do different things during the event from the 4 to 7. And so that's one category. We also need mock interview candidates. So maybe that's you. Maybe that's somebody that you know that you think would like to do it. My wife has already been volunteered. I talked to her tonight, so she's in. So that's one we're adding. And I know that some of the polls who have done it in the past will be reaching out to them as well. But we really need people to volunteer 45 minutes to an hour. I believe the mock interviews, I talked to Sean earlier, and kind of the overview of the time, they don't really start until the first half hour, give the kids time to come in. So mock interviews will start about 4:30 after the event's already underway, and they run till 6:30. So you're more than welcome to volunteer and float as one of the tasks in the event, and then step aside to do some mock interviews as well. Don't feel confined to one or the other. Choose both, right? You can choose both. So those are the things we really need. I think Sean and I talked a little bit too. I think we'll be okay with setup. So if you want to come, there will be probably some tables and chairs and things that need to be set up, even though the Y is helping us with some of it. There's going to be some tables, additional ones we need to rent. So we'll probably be setting up some things from 1 to 3. So if that's when you're available and you can come and you want to help set up, then that's great. You can come then. But the majority, and also the action, is really 4 to 7, and being able to be there. And even if you're signed up to volunteer for the second hour or just the third hour, and then you want to roam and connect with the organizations during the other part as well, all that is good. So that link, the CB14 Youth Conference link, that has the signups, and you feel free to do that now. You could shout out, put your name in the chat. You don't even have to click links. You could raise your hand. If you just raise your hand now, we'll sign you up to volunteer. So, and I think that's the overview. That's what I have at the moment. If there's other updates or things you guys would like to add, please jump in.
I'll jump in a little bit on additional outreach, including the, posting the hard copy flyers. Wait, I'm going to interrupt myself to acknowledge that Nikki Levinson Angulo is here, and she served on the board. And Nikki, you were a co-chair of the Youth Services Committee, right? So
Hey everyone.
she's
Yeah, I
back
was.
in town and back in action, and the grown girl that was just behind you. Hi, she was like this back when you were doing this before. So really
No,
glad to have your experience and just have you back. She's also
I'm
really
very
nice.
glad to be back. Just super quickly, hi, and I was on the board and I was actually co-chair with Dwayne Joseph. So it's really nice to see that this is done in his memory because he was such a sweet guy and such a wonderful person. And hi to both of the co-chairs. And I already signed up to volunteer and I sent it to my friends and was like, and I'd be happy to do flyers or whatever. So I'm just happy to. I had to move to Rochester for my husband's job, and now I'm back and I live right near Cortellia Road, near the Rugby Road School. But hi, everyone, and very nice to meet you. And thank you, Sean, and it's always so great to work with you.
Excellent. Excited for this again.
Hi, Nikki.
But social media, in addition to posting the flyers, we need, some social media help and sharing all the social media. If anybody wants to help, maybe Carissa with content creation. I know Patricia was looking for a boost on some of that. So you could reach out directly to the office if that's something that you are willing and have time to do. We will, I can do a press release, but if somebody has time and experience doing a presser, I'm also happy to seed that task. And then, after the event, we'll get work and try to do better this year on getting thank yous out, because we've just done like this general thanks everybody, but that's something I feel like these organizations come and spend a lot of time, and it's work for them to be there. So there is that. For the setup, Eric, when I was talking to you earlier, I thought about tables and chairs, but there's also like this silly, like running around, like posting all the signs up, like bathrooms this way and youth conference that way. And, the stuff that, it's good to have more people on hand to do that. Also just setting up the snack table. And I realized that the Flatbush Food Co-op is signed up, but I haven't begged them for food yet. So I'll do that hopefully tomorrow. Sarah, what else am I missing? That was the list that I took from the office, but what else? What did I miss?
No, I think that was great. Just an update. So we have the posters prepped. We have English, and your glorious co-chair Ornella has already printed some of them for us, and then we're going to be having a larger printing. We also have Spanish and Urdu and Russian and Haitian Creole, which was done by the wonderful Yvette Clerjean. So thank you for that. All of the credit for the website goes to Patricia. For signing up, Promote It with Youth, Promote It with Schools. We have made, if you look at the click through on the like registration form, so there's technically 3 different forms. There's a event registration, which is like I want tickets to come. We've set that up so it can be both an individual, but also if a principal or guidance counselor or teacher wants to reserve like a block of tickets, they're welcome to do so. We're also really low barrier to entry. We don't actually ask anyone, like it's nice if you give us your name, but we don't ask for very much. And I would say that like helping out in the like, so normally we get there around 1, organizations start showing up at 3 o'clock. They fight for who gets the best table and who has the best setup and who is like locationally. It is actually really helpful to have some other people there because by that point I've lost my mind. And Sean has to like keep everybody like locked in. But I think that like we're really like rolling very well. I feel like we're very on top of it. I will echo Sean that like Patricia does some social media, but I certainly do not. And so if you want to like write, we have I think a Twitter/X still, and Instagram and a Facebook. So if you want to write or make posts for us, that would be sweet, and we'll post them. We also have oops, sorry. We also have some virtual graphics that we can share around for ease of like attaching to a newsletter. We're very thankful to Councilmember Joseph's office for having already shared it out. And yeah, I think we're really practiced at this point. So it's really more about like getting the youth there and then the board members who come and the other adults who come always have a really good time and leave feeling enthused about the youth and like they've given back. And as I think Eric and others have said, like last year there was basically a hurricane during the middle of it and we still got a bunch of kids there. So, and the Y is a great organization, and we love partnering with them, and it is ADA accessible, even though the bathroom in that front. Anyway, yeah, if you have any specific questions, we've had, I think it was about 40 organizations that have
Yep.
signed up, and that includes like city agencies like FDNY, and
Doc.
and who?
Doc. Didn't Doc sign up?
Oh, yes, and the Department of Corrections. And then like nonprofit organizations like Canva and its many tentacles and RealWorks, I think, and Ready. One thing I think it would actually, if anyone has any connections in this area, sometimes we will also reach out to like the SUNYs and the CUNYs, but it is nice because the group tends to swing a little younger. Sorry, dog hair. If we can have some, not necessarily individual colleges, but like the reps from the CUNY or SUNY system to sort of talk about like admissions, things like that. And then, yeah, if you know anyone who's offering internships, we always have a number of organizations that provide services, and that's awesome. Kids do sort of come or on the older side looking for more like job or internship or opportunities. So if you have any leads in that direction, feel free to send them our way. And the office is always happy if you know people, but they're like, I don't really know what this is. We're always happy to talk to anybody and sort of explain why this is worth their time. So, And that includes volunteers. So yeah. That's all I got.
I just want to, I mentioned that I'm going to ask the food co-op for a contribution this year. Last year, we go back and forth with them. When we have extra money, we offer to pay, and when our budget is stressed, we ask for a donation. So we'll be asking for the donation this year. So if anybody's a member of the food co-op, I would love for a member to ask instead of me doing the ask. And I'm totally fine doing it, but I think a member request might, I don't know, just sort of take the pressure off the office a little bit.
Sean, if you tell me what you have asked for in the past, like what your ask is, I would be happy to ask.
Okay, yeah, I'll send you a little email. It's usually like 600 apples and bags of chips. That's it.
Okay, sounds good.
But I'll send
yeah.
an email just to let you know what they've done before. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Oh, and like water, or do we normally get that
No,
covered?
because we don't want containers. We cut out water last year because we didn't want additional containers, and they've got a fancy drinking fountain at the Y.
Sorry about that. Yes, great.
Looks like Nikki has a hand up.
Thank you. I was gonna say I'm also a member at the co-op, and I'd be happy to. It sounds like Eric, you got it, but I would be happy to help with making a request to them. And then I know that in years past we always tried to get like Target, and I say it like that because they owe us, but like getting like big companies, right, that have jobs that would be really a good fit for someone who's in college or something like that, or at the end of high school. Have you already done that outreach? And if not, I'm happy to
And
try and help.
Target did cave, and they came 2 years ago and 3 years ago. I don't remember if they came last year though, but we'll try to get them back.
It was more not to say, did you get them, but more, I'd be very happy to help if there are other like for-profit organizations that would be good hiring things. If you need someone to like email or so, I would be happy to try and
All
help
right, yeah,
with
Nikki,
that. Not that I got any connections.
well, I'll get you a list of the harder to catch fish, and appreciate the backup on the request. I mean, we have 40 now, and that's not including some of the people. Like sometimes I feel like our friends in the community are the last to fill in the registration, because like Robin Redmond from FDC, I just saw her the other night. She's like, "Of course I'm coming." I'm like, "Well, then fill in your form." Like it's not for me to remember. So I think 40 is 40 is probably at least 50. Like Housing Works, I'm like, "You always come." They're like, "Oh yeah, we'll do our form." We'll do your form. So they'll be there. The 70 precinct, of course, never does their form. But the Explorers will be there. But yeah, we'll have 50 easy. And then I gotta start work, and this is a question for you all, for the entire committee. Like, what do we do when we get to, if I get to 60, I'm not worried because 10 won't, there'll be some no-shows, but I do worry about getting to too big of a number and then just not being able to manage. Even last year, Sarah, weren't there a couple people who came in and they're like mad that they had to share a table? And we were like, "But you didn't register, you can't be mad." So I don't know, if I get to the point where I have to cut off, I guess we'll circle back and figure, what do you want to do? Just come one, come all? We'll figure it out if we get there.
That sounds like a good problem.
True.
All right. I want to thank the office for all the work that you guys are putting in, and it sounds like we're in good shape at the moment. Especially, we're still, it's not February, so it sounds like you guys are, now you're in the catch up with the organizations. But I want to echo what Nikki said, and nice to meet you, Nikki. That if you need some backup, if there's like a chunk of things that you want people to follow up with, let us know and we'll distribute, we'll distribute that out and do follow-ups. So don't be afraid to send tasks our way.
Okay, I appreciate that, and will do. And I think really just making sure we have some excellent mock interviewers is one thing to just always keep in mind.
Yeah, that's a good thing to echo again, right? So those out there, people who would like to step up and do the mock interviews or know people, that's something we really need. It's exciting too, to get, for the kids, it's a great opportunity for them to have a sort of career conversation. And even kind of like a mini career day, those mock interviews are also, people who are the interviewers are also sharing their careers, and young people get to see a path that they might not even know exists. Very likely they're seeing a path that they don't know exists. Because when you're young, it's very hard to know. You have a certain bubble of things that you know. So in terms of like what career paths you can take. So as we all know, it's ever fascinating and ever changing.
Yeah.
So if there's any other comments or questions about Youth Conference from board members or anybody from who's not a board member who happens to be on here, maybe? All right. Please take that link, the Youth Conference link, and utilize that. And any questions or need for follow-up, send a message to the office, and they will help. So I think we're in good space now, and people know what they need to do. Shall we move to any additional business? Is there any other business for the committee that anyone has?
Can I ask a super random final question because I've been out of the loop for so long? 2 years ago, we were working. The city had these a youth committee or something like that. It was like whatever
YLC.
happened with that. Yes, does that still exist, and are we still doing that in any way?
I don't know to the first question if it even still exists. And no, it was something that we had a little bit going on with a few young community members, but it didn't maintain itself. It just sort of like faltered, as those young people moved on, there wasn't anybody sort of in the pipeline. But let's think I guess it sort of triggered another thing. Is like, let's think about other ways of reaching out to young members beyond just the youth conference, because we've got a couple weeks and a couple days before the community board membership application closes. And I suspect that Borough President Reynoso and his staff would look favorably upon an application that came from somebody who was 16, 17, 18 years old. So if you know anybody in that cohort to make, Carissa not the youngest member of the board, then tap them and encourage them to apply. Did I call you out? Did you not want to be called out? Sorry.
Am I really the youngest member of the board?
You might be. We'll take a survey.
If you call the office later, we can discuss it. I don't think you are. I think there's somebody who's younger than you that we'll discuss.
You're still the young
I think
cohort.
so too. Listen, I look very young, but I'm not that young. Okay.
But do keep that in mind as the application deadline is, coming at us.
What is the application deadline for the board? Sure.
It's Valentine's Day.
Oh, what a lovely day.
Because
Okay.
we heart community boards.
That's it. All
I
right.
like that. I'm about to make a post like that. Thank you, Sean.
Carissa's. How did she do that? How did you do that? Hearts. She's making hearts.
Because I'm on my iPhone.
Oh man, I was like, what WebEx feature did you just blow up?
I didn't even know it could pop up.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have talents that just emerge. That's great. All right. Well, that's a good reminder. I guess put it out there. If people have a board member idea, I think there are some board seats available, and so we're also looking for board members. So if you know somebody, or if you're, I don't know if there are any non-board members on the meeting, but please, with people who are connected and care about the community, who can make hearts explode, we need those people from their hands. So more like that. All right. Well, with that, I think, unless there's any other final questions, Ornella, what do you think?
I think we look good, unless like you said, if there's any final questions. It's my favorite part of any event, the silent wait time. It reminds me of being a sixth grade teacher and the kids just stared at me.
They will outweight you.
Well, thank you, everybody. And it's been said before, but it bears repeating. Thanks very much to Sarah. And I'll thank Patricia and Abstentia because they're doing the heavy lifting on this.
Appreciate you guys. There, so Chris is doing it again. Sarah, you gotta look up to see it. You gotta see. All right. Thank you so much. I think this brings our committee meeting, subcommittee meeting, to an end. Motion to adjourn. Have a wonderful evening, everybody. Good night.
Thanks, y'all.
Good night, everyone. I did put up my hand to volunteer. All right. Good night.
We'll get you, Florencia. Thank you.
No props.